women traveling alone is not a, sort of new notion or anything, but it's still very much a rite of passage. Hi y'all. So I made it back from England in one piece in another glorious, momentous 20 hours of travel time. Wore the hat because I'm in Tennessee. Jennifer just shut her door. Don't shut the door! I'm recording! Anyway, so I wore the hat because I'm in Tennessee, and I wore the glasses because I have dark circles under my eyes. Anyway, getting ready to peanut gallery. Getting ready to drive across country. Woo! Jennifer, what should we call this trip? Jen! It's early. We haven't had breakfast yet, so I'll get back to you. Ciao for now. We started the journey across country from Johnson City, Tennessee, where my parents are living at the moment. Grew up in Oklahoma, and my dad wants to hike the Appalachian Trail, so we all sort of moved to Tennessee, ended up here. It's beautiful country, rolling hills, green, but it's also very Republican, very Southern, and very different from how I grew up.
Century feminist looks like no one thing. Is prismatic, multifaceted, and recognizes that the ways in which she embodies feminism isn't going to look at all like the way someone else embodies feminism, and that this great diversity and multidimensionality of feminism is a strength and not a weakness.
I think that they look very strong-willed, but maybe subtle, and not in your, how I would like to see them is not in your face.
I think a feminist looks like us. Anybody that's a female that's in college trying to get the education, that's trying to pave a way. A feminist looks like any female that's in a part of a job that most females are not in.
I think feminism should be about women getting behind other women and saying, we support you to make your life safer and make you happier. Whatever that choice is, I think it's about giving people the freedom to choose their own path and educating them about all the possible paths there are and not forcing one on another. You can be a feminist and a mother and a career woman, either or.
My perspective is from athletes. I think that women athletes are one of the biggest feminists out there. I seriously do, because you're doing all the same training as men are. You're lifting weights. You're working really hard. It's for the team. Same sport, same tactical things. Everything is the same except the speed of play.
My name is Joy Michael, Joy Bomber, and I feel like that was one of the things that attracted me to roller derby. The first time I came to a bout, I saw women wearing like bike shorts, and I saw women wearing fishnets, I saw women wearing tutus, and everybody was all okay with that. You do what you want to do, what you feel comfortable with, and I will do what I want to do and feel comfortable with. And I feel empowered. I have no hesitation. I will walk down Main Street, Johnson City with my fishnets on, and nobody gives me shit ever.
Do you feel like you get any sort of discrimination against or reverse discrimination being an athlete and being attractive or wearing makeup?
I don't know. I don't really think so. Because a lot of people who would do that are around the sport all the time anyway, so they realize that there's different kinds of people playing and stuff like that. I have gotten... I'll be in my sweatpants, no makeup on, walking around with my friend who's in sweatpants with no makeup on, and they assume, we're lesbians, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I can't say I wouldn't assume that. I've seen girls where I'm like, she's definitely a lesbian.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'm guilty of it as well. I think everyone's guilty of stereotyping at some point.
My friends from grad school have heard me say this a gazillion times, but that I often say, well, when I lived in New England, it's easier to be a feminist in the North, but it is more important to be a feminist in the South.
The women's studies class was wonderful for me because, again, as I said, I had role models in my life that were a little more progressive than people in my area. And it's not putting down the area, it's just they are isolated in the mountains and it's hard to break tradition. Southern girls have a tendency to not want to take up much space. And I'm always scared to, should I say that? Does that sound okay? I don't want to sound mousy, but I don't want to sound bitchy. It's like there's no in between.
We talked about body image. We talked about, real personal issues that just, we watched all these films.
So what can we do about all of this? Well, the first step is to become aware, to pay attention, and to recognize that this affects all of us. These are public health problems that I'm talking about. The obsession with thinness is a public health problem. The tyranny of the ideal image of beauty, violence against women, these are all public health problems that affect us all. And public health problems can only be solved by changing the environment.
You don't have to change the fundamental core of, the fact that you want to have dinner with your family every night.
Mm-hmm.
That there are lots of different aspects to feminism.
I'm a lot of things. I'm a daughter, I'm a dancer, I'm a friend. I think I play many roles. I definitely, when I go home, I'm definitely the daughter and granddaughter of a nice Southern family. I just think that the woman still needs to be treated very, very well by a man. I think she needs to be appreciated. And I do think some women take it out of context, like, don't open the door for me, and, I can do it myself. I'm not saying we should depend on men, but, if they're being polite.
What you can't do is say, I am less than, right? I deserve for, for my husband to smack me around, or, yes, it is my fault if I go out on a date with a guy and then he wants to have sex and I say no, but that's my fault. I should let him have sex anyway. These are things we don't want them to think are okay.
I am an Iranian American raised Shia Muslim. It's very influential to who I am because of the cultures both my parents were raised in, influenced my raising and influenced my beliefs, but in a good way.
I think we're lacking in Europe or the US. Feminism is still present, but it's very different because now we we have a place in the world, so we don't have to go strike and burn our bras or things like that because people's gonna listen to us.
In the long history, a lot of countries and a lot of famous women fight for that. They hope the women control more power to go to work, to have the equal rights with the men.
I like to encourage other women that I see, like my friends who are straight, who are putting up with bullcrap from guys. I'm just if you don't stand up for yourself, women are never going to have a voice. And I feel like as a lesbian, I've just that just helps push me, even though I know other girls who are being abused by other girls, even in those relationships. So, it's not because I'm a lesbian, it just has helped push me.
I think a lot of the times feminism gets a negative connotation from certain people. They think it's really overbearing people, forcing their ideals on you, which I don't think is the case. I think it's just the concept of women being equal to men, and not even seeing gender as something that needs to be pointed out.
Feminism didn't take place in the 60s and 70s just by a bunch of women who wanted to change stuff, right? It took place, second wave feminism sort of had its fervor in a time of great social unrest where all of society was being questioned, where people were marching the streets for a variety of reasons: civil rights, anti-war, lesbian gay rights, all kinds of things. So feminists were surrounded by hordes of people who were taking to the streets, figuratively or literally, who were questioning the very nature of society and human relationships. Sometimes when it's sort of cast in the media, you'll hear arguments about feminists can't even agree on X or Y. To which I say, right, and aren't we wise for that?